Hey Dragon Slayers, today's video is about fasting in the modern day. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. Let's get started. Interestingly, in the late 1800s and early 1900s, professional fasters would fast for entertainment. One fasted for 30 days and drank a quantity of his own urine. Talk about being starved for attention. Franz Kafka based his short story, A Hunger Artist, on the practice. The fad soon died out, never to be reborn. Dr. Fung's guess is that watching someone not eat really is not that entertaining. Fasting began to appear in the medical literature in the early 1900s. In 1915, an article in the Journey of Biological Chemistry described fasting as a perfectly safe, harmless, and effective method for reducing the weight of those suffering from obesity. However, in a time rife with poverty, infectious disease, and war, obesity was hardly the problem that it is today. Severe food shortages were present during the two world wars and the intervening Great Depression. Treatments for obesity were not a priority. In the late 1950s, Dr. W.L. Bloom reignited interest in short-term fasting as a therapeutic measure, but longer periods were also well described in literature. In the study published in 1968, Dr. I.C. Gilliland reported his experience with 46 patients, whose reducing regime started with a standard absolute fast for 14 days. After the late 1960s, interest in therapeutic fasting seemed to again fade, mostly because obesity was still not a major public health issue. Coronary heart disease was the major health concern of the time, and nutritional research focused on dietary fat and cholesterol. Commercial interests also became pervasive, and as you might guess, large food corporations will not support any intervention that threatens their existence. So fasting as an adjunct to diet started to fade, despite the fact that fasting is low fat as well as low everything else. It had almost entirely disappeared by the 1980s. For most of human history, large amounts of food were not readily accessible all throughout the day. Intermittent fasting was likely a regular part of human development, and it's possible our bodies and brains have come to expect periods of food scarcity. Because we are blessed with abundant food all year round in the 21st century, we now have to make special effort to impose food scarcity upon ourselves for therapeutic purposes. Despite its long traditions, advantages, and effectiveness, fasting as a therapeutic tool has been extinct for the last 30 plus years. Even its very mention tends to bring ridicule, but in truth, the idea was very straightforward. If metabolic diseases such as type 2 diabetes are caused by eating too much, then logically the solution is to eat little to balance it out. What could be simpler? So that's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. And remember guys, that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.